Today I'm here with Raquy, whom we met in Istanbul, and we're going to have a talk about art and music and food. Raquy, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's so nice to meet you guys
Yeah.
too.
You came to Turkey how many years ago?
10 years ago.
10 years ago. And what was it that brought you to Turkey?
Well, I play the Darbuka drum.
Yeah.
And I used to play kind of an Arabic style. And I started seeing on YouTube what was happening in Turkey with this new technique that started about 25 years ago.
Okay.
They call it the split hand technique, where they use the individual fingers on the drum so they get super, super fast. So I started seeing on YouTube like this crazy style, and so I said I want to just go and learn the style. So I came and I took 4 of my best students, all women, and we rented a flat near Galata Tower, and we just immersed ourselves in the drumming.
And actually about the drumming and being a woman, then maybe I haven't seen enough drumming, but to me it seems like a more male-dominated world. Is it that, or is that
Yes,
just
it is.
mistaken? Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's a male-dominated thing, but there's, especially recently, there's more and more women doing it.
And how did you fill in? Where did you first meet the drum? Which was it? The music instrument you started with, or what happened?
Well, I grew up in a family of classical musicians, so I played
Of what?
classical musicians.
Classical, okay, yeah.
So I played classical music since I was a baby.
And what
Mostly
kind of
piano,
the piano?
a little viola, and then I just couldn't picture what am I gonna do as a classical musician. I couldn't picture being in an orchestra.
No.
Couldn't picture being a concert pianist. So,
But from the piano to the drum, that's still.
well, but it's, I mean, piano is officially a percussion instrument, you know. So I feel like the piano became the drum, and then the viola became the Comanche. So they kind of just morphed. But it was during a trip to India. I was traveling in India, and I saw drum lessons. I just started taking drum lessons and completely fell in love with drumming.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to do.
And what is it that you fell in love with? Is it the rhythm, or is it? Is it like the heartbeat kind of feeling of it?
Well, a lot of things. I feel like the drumming is kind of a combination between like sports and music, you know, and math. Sports and music and math, because I love math. I was always like a math geek, and I love cycles and fitting things into cycles, relationships between numbers, and so especially when drumming in India, it's very mathematical.
Okay.
And so that really appealed to me, the math aspect.
So you kind of make 2 + 2 is 4, or how do you use the math?
Well, in Indian drumming, there's these long cycles.
Okay.
And the whole art form is how to cleverly fit something into the cycle. Like, you do something 5 times, and then boom, magically it falls on the one. You know what I mean? It's this whole thing of cycles and fitting things into cycles and modulating. You know, taking something and then modulating the time, and it's like putting sound to mathematical equations.
Yeah.
Actually, you know, the Indian stuff is like that. So. And then it's music. It makes people dance. It makes people happy. Drumming is a joyful thing, and it's also sports. It's you know, it's like the training aspect. I have a little competitive streak, and I love that about it. Just, you know, training and getting faster and doing drills and exercises, and you know, the drumming really
competing against yourself.
Yeah, or
because
against others.
a thing I find not funny is that you are both a student and a teacher at the same time, and I wanted to ask about that, because my idea was like, some people might be like, no, I'm a teacher, I could teach everybody, I don't need to learn more. But where are you on that scale? You're always on a learning journey.
Well, I would hope that my whole life I'll be a student, you know, no matter how advanced I get, I could always get more and learn of new things. And I love being a student and learning.
Yeah, and that is why you're also here to learn that technique.
Well, that's why I originally came here, is to learn that technique. And I came for a month, and then the second year 2 months, and then the third year 3 months, and I kept on adding months. And then I'm so in love with this city. That I just at some point, when was it? I don't know. Several years ago, I just relocated. And just stayed here.
Yeah, and the city encompasses the mix between the Western and the Asian world, and it's so cosmopolitan. We have been here for only 2 weeks, and I can see how you easily can spend 10 years here and still fall in love.
Yeah.
But it also has the art, and can you tell a little about the cafe we are placed in now and why we're here?
Yeah, well, this is called the Jafara Medrese. And the Medrese is the old schools that were attached to the mosques. Because the mosque wasn't just a mosque to pray, it was almost like a community center. So the mosques always have like a hammam next to it for bathing, a madrasa for studying Quran and the Islamic arts. And this is a very special madrasa built by Memar Sinan, who is the architect. He lived 98 years. He was the architect of Suleiman the Magnificent, who was the most powerful Ottoman sultan. And he built so much of the beautiful things you see even today in Istanbul. And he built this madrasa. And now it's still an art school, which is, it's just blows my mind that this is still here. You can still study here. It happens to not be in session right now, but I just was coming here all the time and being like, when are the classes starting? When are the classes starting? Since I started painting recently, and because I want to study the illumination art, which they teach here. And unfortunately, the classes from the pandemic and stuff, they aren't going to start until October. But I found an illuminist who is giving me private lessons here, which is actually even better. So I come once a week, and she coaches me, and tells me all the tricks, and I hang out here all day and paint and order chai and
eat some wonderful food.
Yeah, they have great food, they have great music, a nice bathroom. I mean, it's right next to the Hagia Sophia, so it's just
but the location couldn't be better.
It's like my new favorite place, and I can walk here from my house.
And how is there in your world? Does the drumming and the art, are they balanced, or is it just two sides of you? Do they have something in common?
Oh, for sure. Well, I didn't really start doing art seriously until this past year and a half, when all my concerts were canceled, and I was spending so much time at home, and I see these illuminated Qurans in the museums here, and I just love them so much, and I was like, this is a time to start doing art. It's a good opportunity. So but to me, it's almost the same art form. One is with sounds, and one is with lines and colors. But it's
there's a lot of math in the Arabic art form.
Exactly. It's math. It's cycles. It's creativity. There's so many similarities, but there's also some interesting difference. Like when I sell a painting, it's like it's gone. I sell it and it's gone.
Like my baby.
Which is a little hard for me because in music you can play a song a million times, but you still have it. So that's an interesting difference. And the other difference is, like with the art, you don't need anybody. Like you just make a painting. You be at home with your cats and make something, and it's finished. And with music, you need the band members, and you need the audience, and you need the sound man, and it's like there's so many, So for me, the pandemic was a perfect time to immerse myself in the art, and it's really become a big passion for me. I mean, I have so much fun sitting there and painting. I don't even feel the time passing. I just get in the zone. And
do you listen to music while?
I listen to music, and I just get in a zone, you know. It's just, and I'm painting with these shiny golden colors, and it's
also
so fun.
and I mean
so
it's wonderful that you can make a living where you first being a musician, traveling all over, and then the concerts are cancelled because of the pandemic. What can I do? And then taking your art to that level, and then we also talk about food just before, and I would love to talk to you also about that. You sometimes make your food into mandalas, and that's the matting again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So so there's art and there's music, art and food. But I know you're working on a vegan cookbook as well.
Yes.
Can you tell a little about it?
Okay. Well, you know, I've been vegan now for over 25 years, and I'm it's really important to me, and it's important to, one of the things I feel I can do good in this world is to show people how easy and delicious it is to be vegan.
Absolutely.
and healthy, and to convince other people to turn vegan. Like Mati, my student, I think he's vegan now after hanging out with me for a week. And when I do my drum camps, it's all vegan. I refuse to have any dairy or meat. And so many people that come to the camps, afterwards they at least turn vegetarian, if not vegan. So I think of myself as like an advocate for veganism, and I'm very passionate about that. You know, I think the meat and dairy industry is disgusting and an evil thing, and I'm hoping that someday we'll look back on this and be like, what? Humans did that? I mean, just like how we look now on slavery, or you know, or just these horrible things that humans did. You know, it's horrible, and I you know, I hope everyone becomes vegan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As a vegan myself, shorter years, not 20. I think we're on 5 or 7 as a family now.
Yeah.
But it is, as we talked about earlier, it cleans your mindset on so many levels. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Your music, you have, how many albums is it you have behind you now?
Well, I've released, I think about 15 albums, almost all of original music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is, I remember laughing when you told it to me. I was like, that's a crazy streak of albums.
yeah. I mean, I'm composing all the time.
Yeah.
I'm composing, and
so it's a need to get it out there and share it. Or...
Well, I mean, and there's so much I've composed that, I mean, it's like I just don't have time, you know. But like, if a song will get in my head, and it won't leave me alone until I get it, you know, and it'll just be stuck in my head, and I'll be like, I don't have time for you. I already have so much music, but like it just like won't leave me alone, and I just okay, fine, make you, you know, and I just.
But now when you also have taken up art and also going further with your cooking, then when are you dropping the next album? Is there one? Are you working on something?
Well,
or I presume it delays it a little when you also have the art.
I have a lot that I'm doing, but I just released an album a few months ago. My last one is called Mirror Mirror.
Yeah. And why is it called Mirror Mirror?
Well, one of the songs is called Mirror Mirror, and that's a good question because the rhythm, it's a rhythm that I call a mirror rhythm because it's in 14, but it's 3/4 mirror 4/3.
Okay.
1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3. So it's like the rhythm is looking in the mirror. So the song, the name of the song is Mirror Mirror, and I just thought that's a great name for an album. I love to practice in front of the mirror, and you know, I think mirrors are magical things, and so so that's why it's called that.
Yeah. And so one came out a couple of months ago.
Yeah. And then actually since then I've recorded some other songs, and So I just actually today it's going to be ready. I'll show you guys, but I did a really funny music video for a new song. Yeah. And then I'm actually singing for the first time in my life. Okay. So that's gonna be really.
That's
fun.
a new step.
Oh yeah. I never sang ever. So yeah, so that was really fun. I just made that a couple weeks ago, and yeah.
And to what would you give of what was? I'm a little curious again about the bug that hit you about the drumming. You said it was back in India. Have you tried to play drum before at all? Or?
No. I mean, I played the piano.
So you were walking on the street in India, hanging out, and then you saw a sign?
I was in Varanasi, which is a holy city, and there's a music ashram, and it said Indian drumming lessons, and I said, I want to try it, and I took a lesson, and I got totally hooked. And I was traveling at the time with a girlfriend, and she wanted to continue traveling, and I was like, I just want to stay here and take lessons, and I did, and it changed.
And now
changed
a career.
Well, yeah. Then I at the time I was living in Tel Aviv, so then I got back home, and I was like drumming, and I found the Darbuka, which is the indigenous drum of the Middle East, and it happened. It was almost overnight. 1 year after I started playing the Darbuka, I didn't need any other job. I had so much work. It just boom. It was like it was such a omen, It was just such it happened so fast.
And you could take some of the knowledge you have from the piano and put it into playing.
Yeah, well, one of my favorite things as a classical pianist was accompanying people, because my mom was a violinist or my sister was a cellist, and I just love that supportive role of accompanying somebody and supporting another musician and how to make the other musicians sound good. So that's why when I first started drumming, I didn't have such a great technique, but everyone wanted to play with me because I'm a good accompanist. I know how to. They say the sign of a good drummer is you don't even notice them because they're doing something so tasteful, something that fits the music so well that you don't even notice. And so I had skills of how to be a good accompanist, how to listen, how to follow, how to make the other musicians shine. So I think that's why I got so much work really early on when I was nowhere near virtuoso, because I was a good accompanist.
Yeah. And now you're giving folk the joy of drumming. You have online classes.
Yeah.
If people want to find it, where are they going to look?
Well, I have a website. It's called darbukaschool.com. And that's my online school.
And how does it function for people there?
Well, I have different levels. I have different topics, different courses.
Is it recorded or is it live?
It's all, most of it is all pre-recorded, but I have some, a couple times a week I have live classes that we started doing since the pandemic. Live classes, once a week me and once a week Bünyamin, my teacher. And it's cool because we'll have somebody in China and somebody in Mexico and somebody in the States, and they're all, and we don't see them in the live classes, but they can comment, they can ask a question, and you see who's watching, and it's just so cool to be able to do that. So. And
can you see when some of them are bitten by the bug, by the drumming bug in their eyes when you teach?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Like even Mati, he's just a beginner, but he's totally inspired.
The spark is there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The drug of the drumming.
Yeah, for sure.
And then do you have drumming camps? Do you have some solely for women, or do you combine it? Or?
Well, no, not just for women, for anybody. And I mean, it's been a while. We haven't had one in a couple of years now, but I would have at least one or two a year where I would rent this place in upstate New York, and we'd all live there and spend the whole day, drumming and yoga, exercise, meditation, eating vegan food, just like all the good stuff. Yeah, which is like really, and I know a lot of people are missing those, including me.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time.
Oh,
it was wonderful.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. You're welcome.